For a period of about 4 months now, we've had an undercover officer with the Dallas Police Department working that capacity, attempting to make narcotic buys and dangerous drug buys from these young adults in our city. And during this time, we have made cases on 27 different individuals, 36 cases. We presented these cases to the Dallas County Grand Jury last month, and July 25th, they did return indictments, a true bill, against these individuals. All of these warrants we've been serving today, warrants of arrest for these people, are all felonies for the sale. They're all for sale of drugs, ranging from LSD, barbiturates, marijuana, and speed. These all do carry terms in the penitentiary. Marijuana sale is 5 to life. For the sale of this lysergic acid and speed is from 2 to life in the penitentiary. At this time, just at the time of the day, we've apprehended 20 of these 27 defendants, and we hope to have the other 7 in custody before morning.
Now, were most of these people from well-to-do families, or were they just scattered around the city of Dallas?
No, Carl. We'll find the biggest part of them came from north and northeast section of Dallas, which is, not to overwork this word, the more affluent section of Dallas.
How many juveniles have you picked up so far?
Out of this group that we've arrested so far, 20, we've had 5 females and 2 males who were juveniles, and the youngest being 15 years of age. And I'm talking about these people weren't only possessed, they were selling drugs at 15 years of age.
We've seen a visible shrinking in the demand for hard goods and appliances. This factor, together with the current stock market decline and the easing of the loan demand, evidences a sufficient cooling off of the economy over the last 30 to 60 days to warrant the reduction of our prime rate to our qualified customers. The federal rate the federal funds rate has softened, and the money is more available to selective borrowers. We will continue our selective credit policies as suggested by the current administration. Control of inflation by increased interest rates is not as effective, we believe, as regulating borrowing on a sound economic principle. We think that the general availability of money will probably continue to increase, and that banks across the country will see the advantages of supplying their funds at lower interest rates to their prime customers.
The American Party of Texas is opposed to Amendment 5 for reasons substantive and tactical. First, we oppose it because it is part of an antiquated and archaic theory of social welfare, namely that of direct payments, which the Monahan Report and other recent sociological documents indicates is a program that tends to aggravate the size and the irreparability of the welfare block. Secondly, we oppose it because for political reasons, because it's been made a football by forces in this state that desire or rather fear that a large portion of their political base will be eroded by outmigration from Texas into states with higher direct payments if this proposal is not passed.
A major item that did not come up before the Dallas City Council this afternoon was the question of the city ambulance service contract. Bids were opened last Wednesday, and it was rumored that Sparkman Hillcrest was to be given the contract. However, Councilman Gary Weber, who has studied the city ambulance service, says the decision is pending a study by the city manager's office.
Teal, I'd say that the council is still definitely studying the question. We haven't had the recommendation from our city manager yet as far as, you know, whose bid was lower. My understanding is that all three of the bids were fairly close. So I'd say that we haven't yet reached a decision.
In other action today, the council also authorized the condemnation of 16 more tracts of Fair Park expansion land and the negotiated purchase of 5 more plots. This brings the number of plots settled to 204 out of a total 271. Council action today will also bring Dallas City Water to the community of Daniel-Dale. The council authorized the purchase of the local water system there at a cost of $43,400 and the extension of Dallas water mains at a cost of $58,000. At Dallas City Hall, this is Teal Salon for Channel 8 News.
A group of campus radicals has been meeting for the last 3 days here in Austin. They've been meeting just south of downtown Austin on the campus of St. Edward's University to plot strategy for their campaign in the upcoming year. Their campaign is for law and order. In a time when many young people seem to be preaching a general revolt against police and all authority, that is radical. It is even more radical because a large portion of the older generation, by mere statistics, has not observed law and order. One of the main features of the conference has been a series of dialogues with police and other officials on drugs, education, and business. Some of the discussions, frankly, seemed rather dull, apparently also to some of the participants who looked rather bored at times. Others were quite lively, especially when the young people put hard questions to their elders.
The most frequent verdict in a murder case in Texas is a finding of guilty of murder without malice, a 5-year sentence in which a person's out in 18 months, you say. And so what is this when somebody else, you know, he's got one marijuana cigarette or he steals hubcaps worth over $50 and gets a larger punishment, and then the younger generation looks and says, well, what kind of sense of values is this? And I don't know, the thing I attribute it to here in Texas, Texas had more murders than any other state, even though we're the 5th in population, is the fact that we allow 2 years probation as a minimum punishment for murder. Our law as far as murder goes, the people's attitude on juries, their people's attitude in general towards murder, towards human life, isn't what it should be. And I think that this is really one of the reasons.
So the kids at the school, they're sometimes they get upset with the police and everything. I think a lot of it has to do with the influence of the parents.
Right.
Because,
React.
you know, the parents want their kids to be in at a certain time and everything, and the kids are always trying to get away from this. And I think the police, there's a lack of communication between the kids today and the police. And usually they say, you know, the generation gap.
Yeah.
And it's not a generation gap, it's the communication gap. So what do you think about, do you think that that our schools in each one of our hometowns, you think that we should play a more important part with law enforcement, such as having the police come and talk to us and be more friendly with them?
I think that if we had them come in and talk or something, you know, and show them that they're trying to be friends with us, that maybe that would help, you know, because the kids just don't realize that that's what they're there for.
Too many people just don't respect the police. I mean, you know, they think that they're there just to give them tickets, you know, and call them down when they're wrong. And that's establishment, and too many people just resent establishment.
And I noticed that today because I just talked to two very fine law officers, and I realized how much they really did want to help and how much they really did want to know more about us and how we feel about it, because they're as blind as we are about it.
Right now, if we wanted to go and get some marijuana,
You wouldn't
it'd
have
be
to
so simple. You could I could just go
Yeah,
a couple of
yeah.
blocks and say, listen, I want a few joints, and it's easy.
The high school I go to is, you know, it's all over
Yeah.
in the high school, you know. People walking around, you can tell they're on stuff.
Well, how many friends do you think you have? I mean, that are maybe they're on it. I mean, just
How many people I know?
well, let's say for instance in your school, you know. I don't want to get in.
I couldn't make an estimate.
There's just many.
No, it's so many.
It's not a majority. I don't think it's a
Yeah.
majority, but there's a lot of them.
The majority of the young people at this Texas Youth Conference seem to be dedicated, at least somewhat, to preserving the society. They also seem to be dedicated to something more than that, to finding a way which perhaps they don't even know yet, to improve this society. For that matter, on the other end of the scale, the radical left also wants to improve the society in their own way. Of course, the methods of achieving those goals differ greatly, and the next few years are likely to tell the story of which group wins. In Austin, this is Doug Terry, Channel 8 News.
Somewhere the sun it is shining on the flowers in the field, but man's morals are declining since they invented the pill. So don't forget to take your pill. What would we do without the pill? The seed of deceit